Hey, what's up guys? Your average wargamer is back with another video of World of Warships. And today I have very special video for all of you guys. And I thought that I should make a tier list for the steel ships that are currently in the game. And I mean, there are a lot of steel ships right now that everyone is looking forward to. And there's one more special reason why I am uploading this video as of now is because there is a coupon that I actually used. But as you can able to see, that coupon got available on the date that is 6th December. Or I mean, it's it's talking about the next coupon that will be available. But right now, you will have this coupon if you haven't used before. So you can use this coupon for steel ships, right? And probably people are trying to accumulate a lot of steel ships right now. So I'm just making a good video that what are the best steel ships, and I'm making a good tier list exactly for that. Okay, with that said, let's jump up and get into the stuff, shall we? Now, before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really recommend you to subscribe to my channel because I upload a lot of videos you can able to watch in my YouTube channel. I do that. I do variety of ships, so any subscription that you will do would be so much helpful for my channel to grow, and it will help you as well to how to become, a better player maybe, or what would be the tips and tricks that I'm gonna give you in my channel. So let's get to the tier list. Okay. So first of all, this is, by the way, Vallejo. Now, if you haven't know what is that ship, let me show you. This is the only Tier 9 premium steel ship in the game. So, I will show you in the port. Let's get quickly to this. I don't have the steel ship, but I have given, or I've taken a lot of reviews from the Vallejo, and what I can tell you, this is actually one of the worst ship for steel in my opinion to buy, simply because there's a lot of better options and it's not giving anything very special or unique really. It's like a tier 9 Lazo, and Lazo is basically having it's a tier 7 premium if you don't know, but it only comes up with a special spotter plane and it does not have consumable. So let me go and show you in the the ship tool ST. It's actually very good site to actually able to know which ship has which sort of stats and each and everything related to it. So as you can able to see, the Vallejo, it's a tier 9 USA cruiser, and if you go into the consumables, the most unfortunate thing is that Vallejo does not come up with radar nor speed boost, but it does have really strong defensive AA for its tier. But apart from having the HE shells that have actually very fast shell speed, I mean flight time is really impressive at 12 kilometers really, because for 152 millimeter guns. But still, Vallejo does not do anything that will be able to help us carry the game. If you ask it in randoms, maybe it's a good HE spammer, you can use it, you can easily play the ship and you can make it work. Because, well, you have 15.7 kilometer range and you can use a spotter plane. Now let me show you, because I don't have this ship in the game, so I will just show you the spotter plane from this area. So let me check where the spotter plane. So give me a second. Vallejo, there it is. So Vallejo has the spotter plane. So this is rapid takeoff spotter, and obviously it has 5 consumables, so you have access to 20% main battery range, and it will be used for 60 seconds. So if you build your captain around the rapid takeoff spotter, well, you can have like 18-19 kilometer range, I think 18 kilometer range, and that would be very easy to farm any battleship or any even cruisers, because the shell arcs are really strong. But apart from defensive AA and good shell velocity, it does not have anything, and it has light cruiser armor, except for some extremities, which you'll be able to see. You can able to see the deck armor is 38 millimeters, so you can able to bounce basically every caliber in the game. But still, this armor side is very thick and it's very vulnerable. The Citadel armor is absolutely like super vulnerable. If you ask me, 1 and 2 millimeter armor is basically very, very bad. It won't be able to tank any shell, and if you hit the shell, it will be easily settled. So this is one of the reasons why Vallejo, in my opinion, is a D rank for me. And I would not recommend you to buy it because there's simply a lot of steel ships that are currently in the game that are just too good. And I will get to those steel ships as well. So for me, if I rate the Vallejo, for me it's D tier. Now, one thing I have to tell you, these all opinions that I'm giving you for the steel ships are basically my opinion and what I felt about all the ships that are available for steel. So it does mean that your opinion might be different, and it is entirely possible that you think might be a lot different compared to me. So just keep that in mind. It's sort of a disclaimer, so don't get panic or anything. But honestly, I totally believe that this is really, really perfectly set up in a way that it actually tells you the right thing. I'm telling you the right thing because I have some great experience with all the good steel ships right now that I have currently, and the other steel ships that I don't have, well, let's say that I know their characteristics and a whole lot of stuff related to it. So Vallejo, honestly, don't buy it. Just from the stats point of view, it's not the best at all, so not worth it. So there's the Vallejo. Let's get to the Gato. It's the only steel submarine in the game that we have, and yeah, you can be able to see I have Gato, and Gato is available for 28,000 steel. Pretty expensive for submarine, to be honest, but well, what does it bring? That's the question, right? First of all, if Vallejo is D, well, the Gato straight up goes to S tier. So why it is S tier? This Gato, the only steel premium in the game for now available. I think it's the most broken ship for so many reasons. Okay, let me explain it why. So the Gato, it is interesting ship because if we go, I have this ship already. Let me go quickly and just get the Gato quickly, and let me show you the real stats. So where's the Gato? There it is. So the Gato, there it is. So Gato has very interesting things going for it. The torpedoes, unlike anything in this game, has alternate torpedoes that does 18,000 damage. As you can able to see, the alternative torpedo does 18,100 damage, and their torpedo range is basically that of Gearing, a tier 10 destroyer, Tech 3 destroyer that I'm talking about. So basically that range is already too insane, and the reload time, as you can able to see with my build, is 46.8 seconds, and the the section, or the bow section, or you can call it the bow group, has 6 torpedoes from the front, and from the stern it has 4 torpedoes. And basically you also have access to basically those torpedoes, those homing torpedoes that we call it, and those are 93 knot torps. That is insane. There's no ship currently in the game that has that fast torpedoes. The range is definitely not that impressive, 6 kilometers, but if there is a if there's a situation where you can able to just want to smash a cruiser that is probably going to use hydro, you can just go into the maximum depth and you can use them to counter that. And honestly, these are ridiculous. These torpedoes, these both sets are really, really good. These fast 93 knot torpedoes can easily devastate destroyers, and obviously those torpedoes that are alternate 18,100 damage, they can easily take down battleships. Like a full HP Schlieffen is depth strike, full and easy, no problems whatsoever. Okay, so there, let me show you. So very, very strong in the hands of an experienced submarine player, and this ship is one of those reasons that you're definitely going to scratch your head that what's going on with the balance. Like this is ultimately the ship that if you know how to make it work, you just will be able to smash every single thing. Really, it is that strong. The best thing about the Gato is it has almost 36 knots of speed. Like it's insane. Like not 36. I think I didn't put the flags. Okay, I did put the flag, so it's almost 36 knots of speed, and that also helps Gato to just quickly go from one position to another, and basically able to shotgun battleships and even cruisers. It's insane how easily you can able to shotgun battleships and cruisers like that. And obviously, even carriers are extremely vulnerable because you're just gonna have to surfaces right up in 2 kilometers proximity in front of carrier, and you just drop your payload, and all 6 torpedoes, when you're gonna hit, it will most likely depth strike the carrier as well. So it is ridiculously insane. Torpedoes have very good reload time, 46.8 seconds. The damage is insane. The torpedoes, homing torpedoes, are extremely good also against shotgunning destroyers. You basically shotgun every single thing out there, like everything. Concealment is also very impressive. 5.8 kilometer is really, really good. So you cannot spot a lot of destroyers, really. It's very competitive concealment. So, and obviously you have impressive dive capacity. It's almost like pretty much 4 minutes of dive capacity. And the recharge is also very impressive. So this all thing combined makes Gato a really, really strong, or I mean, simply overpowered submarine. And it's one of the ships, if you want to play, this is, submarine is one of those things that are, you can say it easier to play when you use homing torpedoes at ranges, but hard to master when you want to use the shotgun. Like shotgun does have some skill required. Like you have to say it. I mean, there is a skill required. It's not that easy to go and just shotgun straight away. It's not possible. There's going to be a lot of things. If you get spotted in the middle of nowhere while trying to shotgun a battleship, it's going to be a problem. So, but if you're able to wisely time your situation well, the Gato, there is no contender like Gato. Straight up S tier, very, very worth it to buy. Just wanted to tell you one thing, it also have 9 kilometer hydrophone, so it can spot the ships from 9 kilometers. That is really impressive as well. So you probably will be knowing what ship is where, and it, like, you know, you can able to time your shotguns really well. So Gato is amazing. Highly recommended to buy. Directly goes to the S tier. By the way, I will definitely going to post these steel ships videos, especially the Gato and FDR, in the later videos. So keep that in mind and definitely watch out for that videos as well. The next one is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only steel carrier in the game. And well, in my channel, I have featured this ship so many times. And honestly, if my subscribers know what I do with this ship, they know that it's gonna straight goes to the S tier. So the Franklin D. Roosevelt, let me show you where is that carrier. It's definitely very close to Gato, and both are American ships. So there is, well, people say there's Russian bias. Well, there is some freedom bias as well. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt is also one of the most broken ships in the game, simply because it has these, you know, torpedo bombers and bombers that has bonkers HP. I mean, if you look at the torpedo bombers HP, that is 4,000 per plane. 4,000 per plane, and you are talking about 7 attack flights with 2 planes in one size, you know, of attacking aircraft, as you can able to see below. And these are 14 planes that are gonna come towards you. Imagine the HP pool that you will be able to, you know, try to shoot down those planes. That's gonna be really impossible. These bombers, the torpedo bombers are, you know, they drop a lot of payload, like 4 torpedoes, like 4 into 2, 8, because like the size of attacking flight is 2, and each of the plane have 4 torpedoes. So you can just throw 8 torpedoes on a single target, and imagine the alpha damage that he will be going to take while not be able to shoot down the planes because of these HP pool. Like bombers have 3,825 HP pool, torpedo bombers 4,000. Even the most highly unrecommended, like I won't recommend it at all, these attack aircraft, if you have nothing at your disposal, you still have these attack aircraft that you can use and maybe set fires, and these have 3,300 HP. So these planes are ridiculously bonkers. Like They're super, super tanky. We're talking about the HP pool of literally super cruisers and like tier 8 battleships. Like this is how much HP that these planes have when they will coming at a full strike attack run. That is insane. The bombs, as you can able to see, they deal a lot of damage. That's 10,600 damage each, and these they drop 8 bombs like on a single target. Like imagine these bombs if they will go and hit the battleship. And you can watch my videos, countless videos I have added, and FDR just farms damage like ridiculously fast. And that's why, and by the way, they have so many planes on deck as well, like 23 planes and 23 planes, and even the rockets have so much. We have so many planes on deck as well. So you can just clearly imagine that this ship is you're just not gonna be able to do much if you don't have a good AA. Like if you are not in a cruiser that has defensive AA fire, it's gonna be really hard to do anything against the FDR. That simply is one of those things that will make FDR ridiculously broken. And you can just farm easy damage and no problems whatsoever. You can also able to, by the way, farm the battleships as well as carriers. You can easily snipe the carriers, and that's why the Franklin Delano Roosevelt is one of the most broken carriers in the game. And it's definitely not easy to play. I mean, you can say it's easy to play, but it is definitely not easy to master it. Like it's gonna take a bit of a time because it's unique. Its attack runs is unique. Its style to drop payloads is unique. So you have to learn that first before you will be managed to get like 200k damage every game, because you can easily do that in this ship if you know how to play. Sorry guys. So this is Franklin Delano Roosevelt, highly recommended ship, and we'll go direct to S tier. Okay, let's come up to the cruisers. Now there are a couple of cruisers in the game like Plymouth, and obviously there's Austin, but now we have Stalingrad. Now so it is really, really strong. The thing about the Stalingrad is, even though it does not tank a lot of damage really well because of these vulnerabilities, the guns are probably some of the best. Like I would say the best guns in the entire game. Basically, Stalingrad has these guns. They have never been nerfed. These guns still have amazing specialities and abilities that no cruiser have currently in the game. Petropavlovsk still does not have these capabilities that these guns have. Even though they are really good, these shells that are magical are still magical. They were magical, they are still magical, and they will be magical. And obviously it has 2.65 sigma, the highest sigma in the entire game. When you have this sigma and having battlecruiser dispersion, as you can able to see, the maximum dispersion is very much comparable to battlecruisers. Compared with this range combined with 2.65 sigma means it has one of the best accuracy in the game. It really able to destroy or basically obliterate cruisers. Light cruisers easily able to get Citadel. Like as you can able to see, 305mm guns, they can easily overmatch cruisers like Minotaur, Colbert, Smolensk. They have 16mm plating, and it is easily overmatchable for 305mm guns, so you can overmatch them. And these magical shells basically able to obliterate any broadside cruisers that will show sight in the game. So it's really strong in that regard. Air defense, it has really good defensive AA. It has 6.6 kilometer aura, which basically means you can easily able to fend off carriers well using defensive AA. So the AA is actually not bad. It's actually one of the decent, anti-air suit, you can call it, for a ship like that. And also have longer duration of AA, like it has like 60 seconds of defensive AA duration, which basically helps Stalingrad a lot. If I can able to show you, you can able to see this is it, 60 seconds of duration, and do a lot of good damage. But unfortunately, the defensive AA fire is slightly, not the best. Continuous damage improvement is just slightly higher. It's not 50%, it's 25%, so you have to keep that in mind, but it's still good. It trades off, with action time. Improved action time, less continuous damage, so whatever you call it, it's still good. If someone eats flags, it will do good damage to the carrier planes. The guns have 18.5 seconds of reload time with this build that I have with the reload mod, and then obviously with the radar and the poor concealment, to be honest, but it can tank really well, so it sort of compensates because of the radar. Since if there's a destroyer that is spotting you around 12 kilometers, it will be radar, so you can counter the DDs pretty well in that regard. It does counter submarines as well. Once you radar, you eventually be able to maybe spot a submarine that might shotgun you, or might be within your 8-kilometer aura where the depth charge strike can be used. So it's pretty good in that regard. So I think the Stalingrad is really, really strong. The AP angles, the ricochet angles of the Stalingrad is really impressive. So a lot much angled cruisers most likely going to eat citadel damage. And that is 9,660. Almost 10,000 alpha damage per shell is also one of the things that it's very impressive about Stalingrad. So if you really want to utilize one of those battleship style guns on a very tanky hull cruiser under some situations, obviously, I would prefer it to play in kiting. I have added Stalingrad video in my channel. You can able to see and look out for what are the strengths and weaknesses. So Stalingrad is really, really strong, and for me it straight up goes to the A tier. Okay, so now after Stalingrad, now we have Bourgogne. Bourgogne, well, that's also going to go straight up to A tier. Now the reason why Bourgogne is really strong as well, let me show you the Bourgogne. I also have Bourgogne in my port. Let me check it real quick. There it is, the Bourgogne. So Bourgogne, it is actually having 380mm guns. In terms of caliber, it can only overmatch 25mm gun, like 25mm armor. So it's not the best in that regard, but at least what Bourgogne has, and that is 12 guns with 1.8 sigma. And 1.8 sigma, let me show you a bit of a stats from here as well, because I haven't using this. In general, the Bourgogne has, well, it has also very good torpedo protection, I have to tell you. So it can tank torpedoes really well, even though its HP pool is not the best. Its HP pool is actually pretty low. I mean, it's second worst with the, if you compare it to Incomparable. Incomparable has 70,000 HP, so it's not the best. But at least these guns are no joke. The shell velocity, that's fast shell velocity, 830mm shell, with guns, and compared with having the reload booster that it has, it makes Bourgogne very fearsome, on flanks, because the maneuverability, it has 33.6 knots of speed base, and if you use the speed boost, which increase 15% more speed, you can almost reach around 38 knots I think, and that will basically help you to push from flank to flank and trying to take down those cruisers and battleships that might eventually broadside from the corners. So that is one of the really good strengths of the Bourgogne. So yeah, it's really strong in the hands of a player that knows how to position their ship well. The AP shells are really impressive. It leads cruisers most of the time. If you aim well, it does good damage to battleships. You can easily get like 17-18k volleys on a battleship, sometimes even more. It's very, very consistent in that regard. Secondary batteries, honestly, they are questionable. You don't spec into secondaries, but impressive firing range. Airstrike is very usual 11 kilometers, so it's not like nerfed ones like the Thunder. That's also one of the very good things for the Bourgogne, that it does not have nerfed ASW range. So combined with every single thing, with a good rudder ship, Bourgogne is a beast of a ship. You can just absolutely farm damage with HE shells if someone angles, AP shells with having a lot of broadside, battleships, cruisers, everyone is going to be vulnerable, and main battery reload booster does help so much. You can get 3 volleys in one salvo, or I would say in a single minute. That would help a lot in dealing damage to a broadside ships. Highly recommended ship, A tier, not like the FDR and Gato, but Bourgogne has its own place with the speed monster that it is, really. So Bourgogne, absolutely worth it. Stalingrad Bourgognes are still one of those ships that you should buy for battleship and cruiser. Now, destroyer. We are coming up with a destroyer which is Ragnar, and that is also going to go to the A tier. Ragnar is really strong. Honestly, it's pretty powerful if you play it correctly. It is a unique ship, however, and it's a bit unique ship compared to any other destroyer in the game, since it does not have torpedoes. It does not have torpedoes. It has only two turrets, like 2 into 2 turrets style, so you can throw 4 shells in 3 seconds. So like this is a bit of a different thing compared to any other destroyer. It has for good reasons, it does have 152mm caliber, which basically gives it a 30mm armor pen. So yeah, that's one of the interesting things, that you can actually able to pen cruisers, most cruisers really, because they have extremities or decks around side armor and deck around 30mm, so you can actually pen them very consistently. The most interesting thing about the Ragnar, it has radar, it has speed boost, and it does have heal. If I spec it correctly, right, let me spec it quickly. I didn't spec the Jersey Swerky, let me just spec it in a way that it deserves to be. I'm just putting it for now this way. So with this, you have 30,000 HP, you're going to get 3 heals because of that. You can able to see 3 radars. The concealment is basically going to be 7.5 kilometer. Basically, what that means is, if a destroyer pushes you, you will get spotted 7.5 kilometer. I mean, like normal destroyers will outspot you by a margin, but then you will pop the radar. That is basically 30 seconds of duration, by the way. 30 seconds of duration for a destroyer is also extremely good. Like there's no one that has 30 seconds of duration. Yeah, the base duration of the Ragnar is basically the highest. Combined with the heals, it basically is a DD killer with so much HP pool that it has. It can easily take down DDs. The reload time is really good. You can actually do really good with Ragnar. If you use this build, you can get a slightly better speed boost time and the radar duration as well, so it helps a lot. And obviously, when you have Jersey Swirsky, you will have improved adrenaline rush. So if you have half HP, you're going to have improved reload time, and that would help a lot. So with this, you can take down destroyers. You have enough gun range. If I show you the gun range, 13 kilometers, you can easily take down the BBs. You can easily farm battleship from 12 kilometers. So they will going to have hard time, a lot of hard time against Ragnar. You can speed juke them consistently when you're using the speed boost. If you are not using the speed boost, well, you can use the islands as cover and you can still do great damage. So Ragnar, very strong cap contester, and one of the very competitive ships in the game as well. Like Stalingrad is also competitive, but Ragnar in destroyers is probably the most competitive in my opinion. So yeah, highly recommended ship for ranked battles and randoms. I mean, if you look at the Småland, which is basically a rare ship right now that you can't have. If you don't have Småland, which basically I would say sort of a better Ragnar, since it has a lot much more flexibility and versatility, then you should buy Ragnar. If you don't have Småland, Ragnar is no-brainer and one of the best ships to buy for steel, and highly recommended. Really strong. One thing that I want to tell you about every single thing, there are 2 special things that makes Ragnar even more special. One more thing is, if you can able to see around 13 kilometers, it has 56 meter dispersion. This is special dispersion that is even better than destroyers, by the way. Better than destroyers. The dispersion ellipse is so small that basically around even at 13 kilometers, it pinpoint accurately shoot those shells, and the shell velocity is pretty decent. Let me show you the shell velocity real quick. Just want to give you each and every idea. what the Ragnar is about. Let me show you the HE shells. Ragnar, as you can able to see, 7.5 seconds of flight time, around, like, look, let me check, 8.4 seconds of flight time, around 13 kilometers. That is pretty impressive. As you can able to see, it has 30mm pen with really good fire chance. So fire per minute is also not bad. It's pretty good. So these all things combined with having a radar, which just makes it pretty good destroyer killer. So you can easily contest caps, and speed boost does help in many situations where you just want to run away. So I would definitely say that Ragnar. Oh, by the way, one of the very good things about the Ragnar is, if you look at the AE defense, it has like probably the highest AE defense rating out of all destroyers in the game. And simply because if you can look at the continuous damage, once something goes into 4-kilometer aura, it has almost 700. Like, let me put it that way. Now, continuous damage is going to be 700 DPM. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, if there is tier 8 carriers that are into 4-kilometer aura, their plane is going to get shot down really fast. Like, this continuous damage is ridiculous for a destroyer. And that's one of the things about the Ragnar, that it can be pretty good against the carriers. I'm not gonna say like against FDR and other stuff, but yeah, against the ships like Midway and Hakuryu, well, you can shoot down quite a lot of the planes. So that's gonna be pretty much the good thing about the Ragnar. So all in all, as you can able to see, I have shown you each and everything. It's a bit sluggish though, I would say. The turning circle is basically comparable to cruisers, but it is a big destroyer. It's a big fat destroyer. And one more thing that helps against destroyers is that it has 25mm of extremities. The side armor and the deck armor is 25. So basically what that means is most destroyers cannot even pen with HE shells if they hit into this armor plating, which makes it even better. So sure, AP will pen. Most of the time AP will definitely going to pen. But if you are angled and then you use this plating for yourself, well, they're going to really have a hard time. Like, other destroyers not going to be able to do anything. And it does really counters hard, like Z42, which in my opinion, I will tell you what tier list that I will put, but it's definitely above Z42. It's better than Z42 in many ways, even though Z42 is a bit different and actually a bit versatile in some way, but Ragnar still is very impressive. All in all, I will put the Ragnar in the A with Bourgogne and Stalingrad, not S tier, because it does have some weaknesses. And when you don't have speed boost, you will basically have to be very careful against battleships, cruisers. And if you're caught off guard, you will die very quickly because, yeah, a focus fire can be very hurty for the Ragnar. Okay, so after Ragnar, we will go for the Mecklenburg. So now this is a Mecklenburg. Let me show you. Mecklenburg. I do have the Mecklenburg. So this is another steel ship, Mecklenburg, and the most interesting thing about the Mecklenburg that it has 16 guns, 305mm, probably the lowest caliber in this game, but these are 16 of them. The 16 shells gonna hit on a single target we are talking about. So where do I put Mecklenburg? Well, Mecklenburg is interesting, and well, it's not comparable to Bourgogne in any way. Like, Bourgogne has really good firing angles when you're able to put yourself in kiting position. Unfortunately, Mecklenburg suffers heavily. It has to show quite a bit of his side before it able to use all those 16 guns. I will put Mecklenburg as a B+. It's not A, but it's not B. It's sort of in the middle of A, B, I feel, because it's still really good. Another ship that I would recommend if you have Bourgogne for a battleship. After that, I think compared to Shikishima and Incomparable, I think Mecklenburg is a better choice. Let me explain why. So Mecklenburg is pretty interesting. It has very good armor. Like, if you can able to see, the deck armor is 50, so the light cruiser won't be able to pen. It does have a big superstructure like German battleships. It's a German battleship anyway. So I mean, It's extremely vulnerable to take a lot of damage, but still, it's pretty good. 16 guns. So what's special about these guns? Well, actually, there's nothing special about these guns. These guns have, well, the guns for the reload time of the guns is base 26 second, and if I use the reload mod, you can actually get it to basically, what do you call it? Yeah, 22.9 or 23 seconds. So every 23 seconds you can able to throw 16 shells, AP or HE on any ship. So you can do some good damage, I would say. Now, I mean, it does have 16 guns, so does it mean it will have a bad dispersion? Well, I would say actually no. It's actually have decent dispersion. Even though it has battleship ellipse, and the gun's range is 22 kilometers, slightly lower than usually the norm of battleships range, which is 24 kilometers, 25 kilometers. So it's definitely slightly low, but it's very comfortable still. 22 kilometers is pretty good. And I mean, you still have spotter planes, so nothing's gonna go wrong with that. The Mecklenburg dispersion, let me explain what is good about the Mecklenburg. So if you look at the Mecklenburg, it has obviously improved HE penetration, 76 millimeters, so you can actually take on any deck really, which is very good. If you go and if I put it to firing range of 20 kilometers, the shell penetration is for the HE, so sorry, let me go for the AP. So roughly 290 millimeters. It's basically enough to penetrate any decks, or sorry, any side armors of almost all battleships really. Most battleships will be able to get penned if you hit on the upper belt, so you can get a lot of pen damage when you use AP. And obviously when you use HE, the HE is also really strong, like 16 guns, very good reload time of 26 base. Penetration is really good. 76 millimeter penetration, fire chance is 27%. So as you can see, able to see, it's very good. The HE damage is, I mean, obviously one of the worst. The German ships does not have really good HE alpha damage because of improved penetration. Or they trade off penetration for damage. I mean, okay, sure, but still. The thing about the Mecklenburg is that you can able to shoot these 16 guns on a broadside cruisers, and you can citadel them very easily. 290 millimeters is basically enough to citadel basically anything around 20 kilometers. Like, it's pretty easy. Every broadside will be very vulnerable if it show broadside to Mecklenburg. I just literally forgot one thing. I literally forgot. What about the main battery? Like, what is the dispersion? Well, as you can able to see, the horizontal dispersion, like as you can able to see, it has battle cruiser dispersion. You can able to see Ruggiero di Lauria and Incomparable. So you can able to see it has battle cruiser dispersion and 2.05 sigma. So what that means is that the shells group and the shells land on a target will be very consistent. So what does that mean is, like, you can easily able to do really good damage to basically a lot of ships with AP and HE. And yeah, that's why Mecklenburg is really good. As you can able to see, the AP DPM, like out of all the steel ships right now that they have added, Yamato, St. Vincent, Thunder, Ruggiero di Lauria, like the DPM of the Mecklenburg is the highest. As you can able to see, this cruiser. As you can able to see, Mecklenburg is sort of close to Plymouth APDPM. so it's pretty impressive. HEDPM is also, well, HEDPM, it's not that impressive, I would say, but still it's comparable to many normal battleships that we have. So the shining thing about the Mecklenburg is these 16 guns does hurt really hard. And you should probably use AP more often when the ships are broadside. When you're not broadside, well, you can use HE. So that's why I actually really like Mecklenburg. There's a couple of more things that I really like about it. torpedo protection is actually not the best. Actually, it's really bad. 20% is 20% means that it's gonna be eating a lot of torpedo damage. The AA defense is actually very impressive. You have defensive AA fire in Mecklenburg, and you can also use fighter plane if you really hate carriers. I mean, you can easily able to fend off even FDR when you have fighter plane and defensive AA fire. I'm telling you, when I say FDR looks at the fighter and defensive AA, it's going to be really hard to do much about it. Maybe except for a single drop run, really. Like that's what mostly carriers can do in this situation, even FDR. So it's really difficult for anyone to get away from this AA suit. Speed is really good, 34.1. Base, it's pretty decent. Rudder shift is also not bad. Turning circle could be better, but it's okay. I think it shouldn't be that big of a problem for battleship we're talking about. But the guns, 16 guns, it's very interesting with battlecruiser dispersion, with very good reload time, and it does have torpedoes. So I mean, if you push around the islands, and if you saw a battleship pushing towards you, well, you can certainly use these torpedoes, and they can certainly help a lot in dealing good damage when they are around 20,000-30,000 HP. So torpedoes are good, and obviously, if you have Gunther Lutyens, it makes it so much better. Now, Gunther Lutyens with Mecklenburg, like this legendary captain, what it does, well, this is actually my build from Mecklenburg, and you can able to see I spec it fully on secondary, and I'm using fully, utilizing a lot of heal potential that Mecklenburg can have. I'm just, I'm not able to use the fire prevention. Well, you have damage control if you use it correctly. Well, that's the reason why I'm not going to be using fire prevention, but what I wanted to tell you about this thing, the Gunther Lutyens is, you throw a lot of shells, so you have really good chance around 10-minute game, you can actually able to proc this talent. So you will get improved reload time even better, 7.5% reload time improvement, and then you also have really good secondaries. With my build, the armor penetration is 40 millimeters, so basically you can able to pen a lot of battleships, a lot of cruisers as well, even Patro and Napoli, which are actually very tanky cruisers. And you can able to do really good damage with secondaries. If you're able to push well, the secondaries can wreak havoc. The secondaries of Mecklenburg are pretty good. Especially with this build, if you build it that way, it can help a lot. So that's why it's a really interesting package. Mecklenburg is something you can call, it wants to be Bourgogne, but it has German specialities that will not gonna make it Bourgogne. I mean, bad firing angles are one of those things that will prevent him into A. If it would have really good firing angles, like Mecklenburg, the worst thing about the Mecklenburg is its firing angles are pretty terrible. Like, you have to show like that much broadside. Like this position, as you can able to see the Mecklenburg there, you have to put the ship in this situation to be able to shoot all of the guns. What that basically means is you have to show quite a bit of armor, and you will be easily going to get penned, because armor, if you can look at the armor, is definitely 50 millimeter going to get penned. So yeah, that's one of those things that I really don't like about Mecklenburg. But if you can able to shoot and kite away, and then shoot, then kite away, if you do this well, I think Mecklenburg deserves to be in B+ spot. If not A, I would still prefer Bourgogne with better range and a lot of other things that it has. 12 guns Bourgogne, 380mm gun still does very well. But Mecklenburg is definitely a good ship. If you like German ships and secondary ships, this is a very interesting ship to play. Okay, after Mecklenburg, we have Plymouth. So where we get the Plymouth in the tier? Well, Plymouth can easily go into C, not C, I will put it into B. Okay, so Plymouth gonna go into B. I'm gonna be a bit easier on Plymouth. I know people don't like Plymouth, but at least it does have some carry potential because it can counter destroyers. When you're able to counter a destroyer, that easily puts it above C in my opinion, because Plymouth does exactly that. Let me show you the Plymouth real quick. I don't have the Plymouth. I will go into the armory, and then I will show you in just a second. Definitely, these steel ships are really, really strong, at least on the S and A tier. So these are the ships that you should first get, in my opinion. If you don't like carrier and submarine, I think Bourgogne is no-brainer. So let me go into the ships. Steel, Plymouth. So Plymouth is a British heavy cruiser. I mean, it's a light cruiser, to be honest. So what does it have that I put into B? Well, it does feel like a Belfast. I mean, it does have heel, because at this tier you usually get heel, but these are not improved heels, by the way, so don't get it very excited. Don't get very excited. Let me show the Plymouth in this way. Plymouth does not have super heal, so they heal normal HP. Armor wise, they are definitely very vulnerable. As you can able to see, this is whole citadel armor. But what it does that makes Plymouth special, it has smokes. These smoke generators are really, really good, and it also have radar. Let me show you the duration of that. Let me go to the consumables, and we have Plymouth. So Plymouth has base 3 heals. You can use Superintendent, 3 smokes, very decent smokes. It will be almost 2 minutes of smoke dispersion, so you can smoke up pretty much, and you can able to get the value out of smoke. Have hydro and radar. That is really, really good things about the Plymouth. But the problem with the Plymouth is, well, it is very vulnerable to a lot of damage. Like, it does not have super heal, and it's basically an Edinburgh class cruiser. And Edinburgh is a tier 8 cruiser, and its armor basically very much resembles to that ship. It does have 16 guns, but the most unfortunate thing about the Plymouth is that it wants to be Belfast, but not the OG Belfast that it can ever be, simply because it does not have HE shells. It has only AP shells, and the reload time is not even comparable to Minotaur, like at all. Let me show you the DPM difference between Minotaur and Plymouth. It does have a radar, but it trades off a lot of its DPM for that. It does also have smoke, but again, it trades off DPM. So if I write Minotaur, so Minotaur is right there, and if I compare it to Minotaur, so there's a Plymouth and there's a Minotaur. Basically the same smokes. As you can able to see, a lot better heal in Minotaur. The radar is same, but radar is 9 kilometer, but that's okay. It does have 9.2 kilometer of concealment, if I'm not wrong. So it's not that bad, but again, Minotaur can stealth radar, it does not. That makes a bit of a difference. The Plymouth has really bad AP DPM. If I go Plymouth, though, the AP DPM is what? Where is the AP DPM? Main battery. Let me go to the main battery, and you can able to see the Plymouth AP DPM. I can't able to see. There's a DPM, AP DPM. Okay, sorry. So if I go AP DPM, Minotaur is still the king. It's not that bad. I mean, but honestly, still the trade-off, that much trade-off, that DPM is still makes it pretty Minotaur is still very, very high AP DPM, as you can able to see, and that really what makes the Plymouth slightly meh, in my opinion. Salvo, obviously, the salvo per alpha damage is definitely going to be impressive, because it's 16 guns compared to, I think, 10 guns, so that makes a lot of difference. Everything else basically going to be not that much different, but I would say Plymouth, because of all of these consumables, with not having HE, unfortunately, I would put it into the B side. Let me show you here. So Plymouth can potentially carry the games, but it is very vulnerable to carriers, unfortunately, because it does not have good AA. Where's the Plymouth? Let me show you the AA defense. 70 is basically a tier 9 or tier 8 levels of AA defense. Not much good. I mean, if the carrier try to go and drop you, I mean, you have no chance. Especially the Malta, if it comes for you, ouch. you cannot even shoot down planes because it's not even Minotaur levels. Minotaur is definitely a lot better AA. Survivability is also pretty bad, and that's why you also have to take care of that one. And you don't have ASW, like the range-based ASW attacks. So yeah, good luck taking on submarines. So these are all things combined. Makes Plymouth not really that impressive that I will even put into B+. So B seems to be the better in Plymouth, and that's where it basically be very comfortable. Still a good ship, but I mean, if you are thinking of Plymouth and Vallejo, then obviously Plymouth is better. But all the other ships are definitely worth it first before you even think of Plymouth. So yeah, that's the Plymouth here, and let's go to the Shikishima. So Shikishima, okay, Shikishima I will put it into B. Now I put the Shikishima into B because one thing is that is pretty simple about that Shikishima. Well, there's a couple of things that make Shikishima not really interesting. Now, Shikishima is not unique in the game, unfortunately. You can have a free Shikishima if you want to have. Like, you don't need to buy Shikishima. Like, this is straight up one of the reasons why I would not recommend you to buy that ship. It's my perspective and opinion, so keep that in mind if you still want to buy a tier 10 premium ship. So there is Shikishima, but let me show you the reason why. Unfortunately, the reason is basically that. Satsuma. Satsuma has same guns, but it has the funny button. The F button basically, which gives basically ridiculous accuracy buff. Yeah. And I mean, that basically makes it pretty clear that why I'm saying about Shikishima that bad, really. Because there's Satsuma. So yeah, there's one of the reasons that like why I don't want you guys to think about Satsuma. But well, apart from other things, let me show you this Satsuma real quick. Oh, Shikishima real quick. So yeah, it does have secondary battery, which is pretty good. The A is pretty good. If you are comparing it directly with Yamato, I would say Yamato has 9 guns, Shikishima has only 6 guns. It's again going to be very difficult to recommend you, since Yamato with the legendary the legendary mod, you can able to get it by research points, makes it better than Shikishima. Shikishima does have improved dispersion slightly compared to Yamato, but and does have 2.1 sigma, good range, but again 27 reload time, alpha damage is very impressive. But everything that you can able to see in Shikishima, Satsuma does, and it does it better. So I mean, that's the reason why I would say this again and again, that if you want to play Satsuma, it makes it very, very like not unique at all. A defense though is one of those things that I think out of all Japanese carriers, Japanese battleships, Shikishima is better at air defense. Like if you compare it to Yamato, Shikishima is straight up better. Like straight up better. As you can able to see, it has 10 flags, and I think compared to Yamato, let me go to the Yamato first real quick. I mean, let's go to the Shikishima. I mean, Satsuma. I mean, even Satsuma has 7. Like Shikishima has 10, Satsuma has 7. So I mean, that tells you a lot that Shikishima has better air defense. But if you go to straight up to the Yamato, poor Yamato, man, it has still 6 flags. Oh my god. And 6 flags is a really bad air defense for its tier. Like it's basically tier 7 or tier 8 levels of 8. Tier 8 level of air defense. Really bad. So that's where Yamato suffers. And Shikishima is a lot better. But 510mm guns, they hit hard. But these are only 6 of them. Sometimes the dispersion can be a lot wonkier. Let me show you a bit about the general capabilities of Shikishima. Torpedo protection, obviously, Yamato and Shikishima both have the same. Turning radius is the same. Rudder shift is definitely a lot better. Shikishima has better turning circle. Concealment is basically the same. Health pool, each and everything is absolutely the same. But where the Shikishima is a bit different is the dispersion. Now the Shikishima has slightly better dispersion. You can be able to see 208 and 146 meter compared to 228 and 160 meter. But if you use the legendary mod Yamato, you can improve it to almost Shikishima levels. That basically makes Yamato still a really strong ship in my opinion. APDPM slightly higher than Shikishima, but that's okay, does not matter. So yeah, adding with every single thing that I talked about Shikishima, I would not recommend it. It's still not bad. It's still interesting, maybe at least compared to Yamato. But when there's Satsuma, it becomes really uninteresting. It does not bring anything new into the table, and that's why I would put Shikishima because of its decent capabilities at B. Can't put it on C. It's not that bad, at least in my opinion. So there's exactly that. Coming back now to the other ship. Now this ship, Ruggiero di Lauria, I have put the video. This is a Caribbean Carlito, a really good YouTuber. I found that he was actually looking at the Ruggiero di Lauria. I don't have this steel ship. It's actually going to add in the next patch tomorrow on EU server. So keep that in mind that it is going to be available tomorrow, but I'm adding this video today, just one day before the patch, and that's why I cannot able to showcase the Lauria here, like in the game. So, okay, so Lauria. So as you can able to see, this is Ruggiero di Lauria. It has 4 guns. Let me show you from here because I cannot able to show it like this. So it has, 4 guns. So I mean 8 guns you can call it. It's 4 turrets. Yeah, so 8 guns with 4 turrets. You can able to see. It's basically an Italian Thunderer, but it is sort of worse than that, and that's what makes Ruggiero di Lauria very weird in some way. Let me compare the Ruggiero di Lauria directly to Thunderer because it's basically having absolutely almost all the same characteristics that Thunderer has in many ways. So Ruggiero di Lauria, 457 millimeter guns, 457 millimeter guns. It has worse APDPM, as you can able to see. Thunderer is still the king in APDPM, at least compared to Lauria. But it does have SAP, which has 265k SAP DPM, and Thunderer has 151k. But even though it comes up with a lot of SAP damage, the problem with the Ruggiero di Lauria is that at least battlecruiser dispersion that it has, Thunderer and Ruggiero di Lauria both have battlecruiser dispersion, which you can see 260 and 131, 260, 127. This is basically because of the range. That's why you have slightly see the vertical dispersion improvement or worse. So you can able to see the flight time is basically the same, but the sigma is definitely different. Thunderer has 1.9, Ruggiero di Lauria is 1.8, and that's what makes it slightly less accurate compared to Thunderer at least. And obviously the one of the most important thing to talk about the Ruggiero di Lauria is if you look at the AP shells. So let me go to the Ruggiero di Lauria. AP shells penetration 511. The Thunderer also have 511, and I also add St. Vincent for comparison as well because it does have 457 as well. All 3 of them have 511 millimeter capability, 511 millimeter penetration capability at 20 kilometers. And obviously there is one difference, very important. Ruggiero di Lauria has short fuse time, and that's actually really not good. I mean, it's good against light cruisers, and sometimes you want to depth strike small guns at close ranges. Sure, that's where fuse time is good because it will arm very quickly. The shell will fuse quickly and do the citadel, but generally it's not really good against battleships, I would say. Thunder has normal fuse time, which makes it really good. And St. Vincent, every single thing that Ruggiero di Lauria does with AP, St. Vincent does absolutely everything same. Absolutely everything same. There is no difference whatsoever with the characteristics of AP of Ruggiero di Lauria and St. Vincent at all. Like really. One of the things that Ruggiero di Lauria has in its arsenal and that is its unique armor. Unlike anything in the game, as you can able to see, the deck armor that it has, this all deck armor is 120 millimeter. This area is also 120 millimeter, and this area, as you can able to see around the turrets of the stern, this is all 120 millimeter and very small superstructure as well. And the front one is obviously 32 millimeters, so it can be overmatched. But if you put this ship in kiting position, absolutely every single shell in the game, even like some of the, I think the German like battleship might not have enough pen to basically able to deal damage to this much thick armor of the deck. That is one of those things that Lauria does have. Apart from this, as you can able to see, the turning circle is 1000 meter. That is really bad. Rudder shift is really good, but it's still again not comparable to Thunderer. Speed is definitely a lot better. 37 knots compared to Thunderer's basically almost 31 knots. So there's a lot of difference in speed. But air defense is terrible because it's again Italian battleship. Italian battleships have low firing ranges. The guns are really impressive, but you have San Vincent and Thunderer that does a lot better with AP. I mean, you have free Lauria in form of San Vincent that has absolutely every single thing same with comparison in AP. So apart from this armor scheme, I mean, it comes up with this armor scheme, but it also have really bad citadel. This whole red thing, as you can able to see, this is all thick citadel, and it is really above water. So if you broadside, you're going to get a lot of damage. So there is that one thing to keep in mind. So I would say Lauria, if you want to use sap and do a lot of damage, because obviously it's sap TPM is pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good. So if you want to use that, sure, Lauria is interesting, but I would say don't buy it. If you have Thunderer, especially if you have Thunderer, please, San Vincent and Thunderer, if you have both of these ships, please don't buy this. I would definitely not want you to spend 31,000 steel for that. Not worth it at all. I will put it into basically, well, I want to put it into B, but if you like SAP, okay, sure, maybe put it into B, but again, I'm not sure if that justifies with Shikishima. I really don't think so. Still, I can put it into C or B. It's basically in the middle of B and C. I can put it like C plus. At least for me, it's not that amazing when you have Thunder, but I will still put it into B. I think it's not that bad because of its interesting tankiness of armor, at least. I mean, it can tank a lot of damage because of the armor. So, but still, it's like Italian Thunder. I think I should not put it into C. I will just put it into B. That's what it is. I like Mecklenburg a lot more. It's a lot better. Secondaries, a lot of stuff. It can't have this, so there's exactly that. Okay. After that, I have another ship, and that is this one, Z42. Let me show you Z42 real quick. It's also a very interesting destroyer, by the way. Yeah, and it's a German destroyer, which makes it even more interesting. Okay, Z42, really interesting. Okay, one thing that is straight up makes it better, once you put Gunther Lutyens. Oh, wait. People are inviting, I'm just gonna deny it for now. Okay, so if I put Gunther Lutyens in Z42, it makes it a lot better. Just straight up better. Like, if I put it into B, I will put it straight up to B+. That's how good it is. Like, it's really good. Let me make it the captain build real quick. And I think this is really the best build. I would say this is probably the best build for Z42, without a shadow of doubt. This recommended build, I think this is really good. So what is very interesting of Z42? Well, obviously, the reload time is not really the best, I would say. But still, if you proc this 140 shell hits thing, you can get improved 7.5. Again, the same thing. If you're able to spot 3 ships, which is definitely possible in this destroyer, you can get sort of a heel for a tier 10 ship. Like one heel you can call it if you're able to spot 3. So you can effectively have 26,000 HP, really. And that is pretty good. So definitely it's a worthy ship to pick. The guns are really good. The fire chance is not the best, but Gunther Lutyens make it pretty interestingly good. So Z44, oh sorry, Z42, I think I will put it into B+. It's just because Gunther Lutyens, both of these ships, Mecklenburg and Z42, get a lot of value from that. If you don't have Captain, I would put it into B. But if you have Captain, yeah, B+, no problems. It will make Z42 really good. So Z42, a definitely good ship. Both of these ships in B+ category, both of these airmans, they are not like Stalingrad, Bourgogne, or Ragnar, but they are still really, really good. And I would highly recommend you to buy these ships after these ships, at least these A ships. Okay, let's come up to the second last ship, and that is Incomparable. Well, Incomparable is, I don't know what to say. It's one thing that I can say, it's a long ship. It's a long ship. Let me show you into the armory real quick. Steel, Incomparable, showing the port. 508mm guns, 28 seconds of reload time, and the firing range 17.6 kilometers. That ship is really long, as you can able to see. Oh boy, that is a long ship. Okay, so where should I put it in tier list? I think Incomparable is gonna go to basically a B tier. It's not B+ for me, no. It's definitely interesting in some ways. Shikishima is also interesting, Incomparable interesting, but I think all three battleships, at least compared to the Bourgogne and Mecklenburg, is not really good, I would say. Now, Incomparable is not good because, well, there are a couple of things. Well, one thing about the Incomparable that makes it a bit weak in some way. It only has 70,000 HP pool. That is actually the lowest of all battleships in the game. Lowest of all. Which makes it actually not the best. What is good about and torpedo protection is terrible. 14%. That is, I mean, if the Hakuru will gonna drop him, I mean, you will take basically almost 8,000 damage, 17,000 damage from torpedoes. And because this is such a long ship, carrier is just gonna eat you like nothing. Like it's gonna eat you so easily. FDR especially. I don't want to even talk about FDR. How brutal this the carriers is against Incomparable. It just sucks. Because AA defense is okay. It's not bad, but it's such a big ship that you cannot able to mitigate a lot of damage from carriers. If you want to dodge or try to do that thing, I mean, you have to show that big broadside. Let me show you that big broadside here. The armor-wise, armor is really questionable as well. I mean, let me show you the armor here real quick. As you can able to see, Citadel armor 51mm. What is Citadel armor? And then you have this side plating. So it's basically having a spaced armor, as you can able to see. So yeah, this side plating is 32, and once you remove it, it's actually having I mean, it does have some armor here, but its plating is not thick enough. It's like around 350mm of thickness, and that's basically not enough to basically able to mitigate the Citadel hits that good penetration armor BBs can do, like good penetration guns battleships can do. So it's very vulnerable. The Citadel is actually very vulnerable. I don't know if it's even 300 in my opinion. It's like you cannot able to tank that much well when you are broadside. Torpedo protection is really bad. The firing range is really bad. Like, oh my goodness, 17.6 kilometer for a battleship is super unimpressive, especially when you are having this meta where you're just going to be kiting away and trying to disengage and not able to push it under many situations. So firing range is so bad that just makes it pretty unfortunate. Concealment is something interesting. Concealment is really like there's like WTF situation for me. For such a big ship, it has 13.5 1 kilometer base concealment. It basically goes down to 10.7 kilometer if you build it. So it's basically having the best concealment of all battleships. But honestly, if the destroyer spots you, you're gonna have a bad chance. I mean, you can definitely be able to flank in this ship, sure, because it does have very accurate guns. And when I say this, let me show you something here. So Incomparable does have where's the Incomparable? There it is. It does have a battle cruiser dispersion with 2.0 Sigma, which is definitely better than Thunderer. Like, where's the Thunderer? The Thunderer is 1.9. Incomparable has 2.0. And obviously Incomparable, well, it does have 508mm guns, but unfortunately it does not have that much enough penetration. So what I'm talking about, I mean, you might be thinking it might have Shikishima levels of penetration. You are actually not right. Incomparable 490mm pen, that's less pen than even like Ruggiero di Lauria or Thunder. So penetration is again low, and that's what makes it not really interesting. Shikishima, I mean, if someone would have thought that Incomparable gets to the levels of Shikishima or Yamato, or in between, that would be actually makes the penetration interesting, but it's slightly less for 508mm guns, so there's exactly that. However, it does have overmatch like Shikishima, so there's that at least, or Yamato. You can lol pen battleships. Like, unlike Japanese battleships, this is also one of those battleships that can lol pen battleships, 32mm plating, so there's exactly that. But again, it's not really interesting or impressive in many ways because, again, the armor is really weak. Armor is basically comparable to tier 8 broadsides, and that is such a big broadside and terrible turning circle. Like, it's so bad. That is really bad. This is like carrier levels of turning circle. So you will be showing broadside for some good time, and rudder shift is also not like Thunder levels. So your concealment can sometimes screw you up if you get spotted. I mean, the only thing that will help Incomparable is concealment, but you know, if the carriers try to spot you, you know what happens. Or the submarines try to spot you, you know what happens. Compared with that survivability, even though it has super heal, it does have super heal. Let me show you real quick. Let me show you the consumables. It does have obviously a good consumable, like it has base 2 repair teams, like specialized repair team, or your super heal you can call it. You can even though you have super heal, you cannot able to heal citadel damage as well, unlike Ruggiero di Lauria, which actually can. Saint Vincent does also not, but if you directly compare with Saint Vincent, I think Saint Vincent is superior. It does have speed boost, better speed boost than Saint Vincent, but still Saint Vincent also have defensive A, and Incomparable does not. It does have hydro, again it's only 3 kilometers, so good luck not able to defend yourself against shotgunning. You cannot able to get yourself, you will be able to have some time against destroyers that are basically having fast torpedoes, stealthy torpedoes, but again, this is again, submarine's going to be having a lot of issues. It's sort of its special personal hydro it has, but I'm not sure. Incomparable with 6 guns as well. Like, the problem with the 6 guns is its consistency can be really wonky, and that's why I would put it into B. No way, I won't put it in B+. It has bad armor. Even Manfred von Richthofen, the tier 10 carrier, the Tech 3 carrier, German carrier, can actually able to citadel him if he broadsides. The AP pen is enough of the AP rockets that it can able to citadel Incomparable with that. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is something that I don't believe it, but that actually happened. And that's why Incomparable Not worth it. Not. I mean, it's not bad, but at least compared to the Bourgogne and the Mecklenburg, I would say I would rate it around Shikishima, Ruggiero di Lauria. So yeah, there's exactly that. The last and the final one that we have is Austin. Now, Austin, well, I will put it directly into, well, I would say B category. I want to put it into C because again, it does not have like utility like the Vallejo, but Austin did get a bit of a buff. And problem is, if I put the Austin into the B, there is also Malta, and that's what makes it a bit difficult, to fight against. Like Malta can just basically screw you up so hard, and you cannot be able to disengage, even though you have really good AA. I will put into B and C. Like I will put it here. I don't know. I like it does not have radar, but it's a very fun ship though. If you want to play a fun ship, I think I will put it for the sake of the fun value that it has. I will put it into the B. Now let me go to the Austin real quick. Okay, so what is basically Austin? If you don't know, Austin is obviously another steel ship, but it's a light cruiser and it does have sap shells. So, and very, very good shell velocity, sap and HE shells. It does not have AP. And when I'm talking about the armor, like the problem with the armor of Austin is, as you can able to see, 32 millimeter. You know what that means is Shikishima, Incomparable, Hanover, Yamato, Satsuma, all these ships, like 6 ships in total, Musashi actually, can able to just lol pen this deck armor. 32 millimeter armor, it will ignore it and just go straight into the citadel. And you will be going to get depth struck with like 2-3 shells. Super easy. And with this HP pool, one citadel is gonna cost you almost 1/3 HP. And that is big oof. That is really big oof. So it's a good ship, meme ship, you can call it. What makes Austin special is if I go there, it does have a really interesting thing. Like the thing that makes Austin interesting, and only reason why it is interesting, is main battery reload booster. Now, unlike anything in this game, main battery reload booster, let me show you just a bit real quick what is exactly that. Main battery reload booster is basically for 15 seconds, and as you can able to see, the firing rate compared to normal ships is basically a lot better. 400% firing rate compared to 200%. So that is ridiculous. Like you just basically able to have 400% more DPM when you pop this reload booster. And what that mean is, what basically that mean is that you can able to do a lot of damage with sap when you are broadsiding against Austin. And that's really, really important thing to talk about. So let me show you one thing real quick. It does have defensive AA, it does have heal, hydro, but again, the problem is, it is good against carriers, don't get me wrong, but Malta was absolutely going to screw you. Like, ridiculously easy to screw you. It's really interesting and fun ship because the fire chance is also really good, 9% fire chance. It does gotten buffed, so I would say a lot fun ship to play. It does have some interesting thing going on. It just got recently buffed. Torpedoes, it does have torpedoes as well, 10.5 kilometer. That's also pretty good. But again, concealment is also not bad. You just spec it for concealment, you will get it around 9 kilometers sort of. So that's also pretty good. But again, Austin with so much low HP pool and not having any smoke thing makes it a lot much difficult to play sometimes. And especially when you have Yamato and Shikishima and Satsuma, maybe Incomparable here and there. One good volley of them basically literally going to depth strike you. Super easy. And all of that value that Austin gets from the main battery reload booster, it will also go off. So it's basically what it does, it tries to basically push around the on some of the flanks of the enemy and just pop the main battery reload booster when just someone broadsides. Like for exactly that 15-20 seconds, you can able to basically smash with sap, like the upper deck armor of the sap, and you can basically able to do a lot of damage. Like cruiser, you can basically able to smash 30-40,000 HP of cruisers, battleships, anything that just comes across this main battery reload booster. And that's what makes Austin a bit interesting and actually special. But unfortunately, again, you don't have radar, so you won't be able to counter hard destroyers. Although, obviously, when the destroyer gets spotted, that main battery reload booster basically going to just absolutely burst him down to death. Like, boom, and it's gone. Like, it's that powerful when you use sap against broadside destroyers. And then, obviously, it does not have plane-based ESW strikes, so it does not have airstrikes, I would say. And that also makes it very vulnerable against submarines. So these are the things that makes Austin not really interesting or worth it in my opinion. And it's sort of a meme ship. It's fun. It's really fun to play sometimes. When someone just use damage control, you just use the bomb of HE shells with the main battery reload booster and you just set 2-3 fires. So yeah, that's why Austin is very interesting. It does have improved heals though, 18.5% heal. So there's that, and have base 4 heals, so you can have 5 heals as well. So that's one of those things that is interesting about Austin. So I will put it into B. I think B is better, not the C. Vallejo is D. Vallejo is, I can put it into C, sure, if I want to be very happy about, but no. So this is what I think about the steel ships in general, and what I believe that if you don't have Gato and Franklin D. Roosevelt and you are submarine and carrier player, buy them first. Buy FDR first if you want to basically absolutely smash every single thing in the game. Like FDR is ridiculous. Gato is ridiculous. Stalingrad, Bourgogne, and Ragnar are very strong ships. Highly recommend to buy these things first. And then if you like German ships, you can go to the Mecklenburg and Z42. If you like destroyers, I think both ships are really good and fun to play. And again, if you want to go into the meme ship, Austin, good. Shikishima, Incomparable, that is definitely up to your taste. If you like very long range sniper-esque playstyle, Shikishima is definitely going to be better. If you want to use concealment and try to push around the flank, where you basically want to surprise enemy ships, Incomparable is better. Ruggiero di Lauria is basically in the middle of better. I don't know. So I mean, if you love sap and want to chunk like 17 to 20k alpha damage sometimes, like 16k 15k consistently with sap, Ruggiero di Lauria with sap does hurt. And obviously short fuse helps against depth striking cruisers. So yeah, there are things, sure, about these things, but first things, S tiers, A tiers, and B tiers, B plus tier, these are the ones that you should first buy, and then you can go to these ships. If you have steel remaining, sure, but Vallejo, oh, I don't know. Do not think of Vallejo. It's really, no, not really worth it. So I hope you like the whole video. It's a big video, by the way. I have taken a lot of time. I really want you guys to help me into making this channel a lot better. I will help you with all the things or questions. If necessary, you can comment me down below if you have anything. If I said anything wrong, maybe I might not be really good in all that. Maybe you might be disagreeing with everything that I said. You can absolutely comment me down below, and I would be perfectly fine to answer all of your questions if you have one. But comment is the first thing that you should do in the first place. So I hope you like the game, or at least this video, and I hope that will really change or make your decision that what steel ship you should absolutely get. And yeah, if you like this video, thumbs up, like. If you don't like it, sure, you can dislike, no problem. I will improve it even better, and I will catch you into the next one. With all these steel ships that I have, I will cover each and everything in detail from the here on. And so thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you into the next one. Peace out.